Alrighty then. Now that Hot Pursuit mode is now officially complete, as I have done at least one run on all 3 difficulties with all 5 of the pursuit cars we have available to us, it's now time for us to get back to tournament mode and do the GT Racing Championship. However, I've already done the GT Racing Championship once, and I have proven it is possible to win it, but I did manage to tape video footage to show you what happens when you win it the first time. Well, technically, I won it on my second time, because first time I did this, I finished a pretty distant second, but I did manage to win it the second time around, and I did manage to get all gold in the tournament event, which means we do now have the endurance racing competition, and you weren't supposed to look at that. But ultimately, as a result of us getting all gold in the tournament, we officially managed to successfully unlock the bonus car, which by the way is the Phantom. And unfortunately, it sucks to say that you did see that, but either way, that is the car we unlock from completing all the events. And I do have video footage to prove it as well, because I figured that would be necessary for me to, record. Essential for me to record. It was imperative. Anyways, trying this again because I know I had to go through absolute hell on earth to win this the first time around. I don't consider a clean sweep to be possible, but I may be able to somehow prove I can at least limit the damage here. I basically won the first 2 races and then followed that up with the second at the 3rd race, basically clinching me the championship by default because I was the most consistent. I'd also like to say the amount of chaos this championship alone has created, I reckon it's probably enough to give even Dale Earnhardt a run for his money in terms of the levels of chaos. I do of course refer to Dale Earnhardt Sr. when I say that, because that's just how to hell with the rules chaotic this championship has really been. I mean, it was basically hard enough for me to win a race, let alone win the championship. But somehow at the end of the day I eventually did it.
Third place, lap 2.
I have no idea how I did it, but I was able to do it somehow. And I think part of the reason for that is because of commitment, but there could be all sorts of other reasons adding to that as well, which could have culminated into why I eventually won this the way I did. Come on, let me through. Okay. Can I manage to somehow keep a hold of this lead? I fucking hope so. But yeah, basically, it took me my second completed attempt to actually win the whole thing, and when I decided, because I did not want to go through absolute hell on earth again just to prove I could somehow get the job done, and basically having to drive my balls off just to do it.
That's your best lap. You're in first place, lap 3.
I was only a quarter of a second off my PB. But anyway. Continuing to lead here at Raceway 1, I think. Sorry, Raceway 2. And slowly pulling away from the AI whilst I do it in my blue McLaren. And if I can just manage to limit the damage from here, I should be able to come away with a reasonable sum of money. I also noticed if you push down the left toggle stick, well, the left toggle stick on the controller, it does also honk the horn for you. And I got distracted as a result of that. I probably shouldn't have honked it when I was on a corner exit, and then had to follow that up with an immediate right-hander afterwards. But anyway, I still lead here at Raceway 2.
You're in first place. It's the final lap.
It will amaze me if I do manage to beat my previous personal best, which by the way is a lap I set on my first attempt, if I recall correctly. And it's not going to be easy for me to beat that, but I'll be amazed if I do, because I'm still having to drive like a bat out of hell just to hold on to the lead. And at the moment it seems to be working, because I'm slowly pulling away. And I just hope to keep a hold of the position I'm currently in. And I honestly hope the endurance racing competition is not going to be as hard as this one was to win. Anyways, coming off the corner, and
You beat the lap record. You won the race.
I managed to successfully beat my previous personal best. So Bullet finished in second, Nemesis third, followed by Ranger in the third McLaren, and then it was Frost and Chump in the two other Merc CLKs, who came in 5th and 6th positions respectively. So it is fair to say the McLarens at the moment are proving to be superior over the Mercs.
Congratulations! You set new course and lap records.
Alrighty. And not quite close enough to beat my previous best overall time, but I do get the lap record, and that's all I care about. So 8 points to me, 6 to Bullet, and 4 points to Nemesis. Still very much all to play for, but if I can manage to win the second race, then I should be a good contender for winning the championship overall. Even though I may need to get myself some water before I do the third race. And also probably hit the can as well, because once I'm done with this race I probably should hit the John before I get on with race 3. I also figured out a way to actually win this race as well, and that was to give it a conservative approach by short shifting. And apparent as it might be, my short shifting approach actually worked at the end of the day, because I did manage to win this race eventually. as a result of me short shifting. Because I actually managed to stay on track a bit more compared to the attempts I had before around this joint. And apparent as it might be, at the end of the day, it actually worked. With me basically short shifting with this car whilst I was going through these corners. I basically managed to prove that was the way for me to move forwards, and lo and behold, I eventually won the race as a result. Officially.
You're in first place, lap 2.
And there goes Bullet. I should also mention, it's incredibly hard to win here. I mean, you've really got to be conservative in order to win here, at this joint. The exact opposite of what you need to do at the other raceway circuit. Well, at Raceway 2 I should say. You've really got to have a more conservative approach, just to see if you can manage to win this race. And I was very lucky to say at the end of the day I did manage to win here eventually. Which, to be completely honest, was basically the cutting my teeth measure I was needing to use in order to win here. But yeah, it takes plenty of patience to officially win at this joint. I wouldn't say I'm going to get a clean sweep, but as long as I'm able to win at least 2 of the first 3 races,
you're in second place, lap 3.
Then that's basically all I care about. Or as long as the AI basically, or as long as my main rivals finish behind me, I honestly don't care either way what the circumstances are going to be, as long as I win the championship overall. And yes, that does require bits of luck to eventually reach your goal as well. Regardless of how mediocre your overall input will be first time you do it. And it does amaze me to say the first time I did this, I still finished second, in spite of how terrible I was in the third race. And I think my main rivals... oh, Nemesis is still there. Okay. Well, as long as I finish ahead of my main rivals, then that's all I really care about. Okay, I'm gonna keep my mouth shut now.
You beat the lap record. You're in third place. It's the final lap.
I can definitely say the AI at this stage are proving to be quicker than me. Just gotta go for every point I can claim at this stage. That's basically the only thing I can really do. I don't think I'm gonna catch up to Ranger at this stage. He seems to be in a league of his own. Marty's up front at the moment. And that was a very aggressive move Nemesis pulled off there, whilst he was attempting to take second. That was a very aggressive move he pulled off there. That was basically destined to fail. But I somehow managed to come out of it still ahead. Oh, that's Frost. Okay. Well, I think it's fair to say Nemesis has definitely dropped back. But I have won here before, just to be perfectly clear. Sadly, however, it does not look as though I'm going to win it this time around. But again, as long as I'm still ahead at the checkered flag, then I don't really care.
You placed third.
You know, considering what I had to go through just to get third in the end of that race, I will gladly take it. So Ranger wins race 2 ahead of Frost, and both Bullet and Nemesis fell way back at the end of that race. So it is fair to say I've definitely got a comfortable points lead now because both my rivals finished behind me.
Congratulations! You beat the best time and lap record for this track.
Well, it was definitely a hard-earned one, there's no doubt about that. And I beat my previous best by less than a second. Interesting. Anyways. 12 points to me, 11 to Ranger, 9 points to Bullet, Frost is in 4th, Nemesis 5th, and Chump is dead last. Still, that second race, it was freaking crazy, man. I think it's almost impossible for me to achieve a clean sweep, but either way, I wouldn't think Ranger is going to be my main contender for the final race. I think my main contenders are still going to be there, they're just going to be behind me. And they're probably just going to have trouble working their way through traffic. But overall, I don't really care as long as I somehow win the championship altogether. And hopefully I can.
2, 1, go!
Because I had to go through absolute hell on earth to win this on only my second attempt. That's literally just how... That's literally just how fucking... That's just literally how much massacre it was for me to win this the first time around. Well, on my second attempt, but the first time I actually won it, I did have to go through absolute hell on earth to prove it. And Bullet is now up to second, so it is obvious to say Ranger was going to fall behind. I kind of knew that was coming. There was nothing I could have done there to prevent that from being the case. I think if I just get a good finish out of this, maybe even a win, then I'm pretty sure the championship is going to be mine. I mean, even though Ranger did win the second race, I'm fairly certain he is not going to win again. And here comes Bullet. And he just wrecked himself. But this race is by no means whatsoever over. If I can somehow stay up front, I might be able to pull this off.
You're in first place, lap 2.
Still. I mean... yeah. I had to reset there. There was no other choice I had except needing to reset. And Frost is now up ahead of me. I had to hit the reset button if I was going to somehow... if I was going to somehow avoid crashing. I mean, if I did not hit the reset button, I would have basically lost all my momentum and probably the championship also, had it not been for that reset button, and I would have been apoplectic as a result. In other words, I would have basically been so furious I would have honestly compared my frustration to a Mount Etna eruption. And the reason I say that as well, because Mount Etna is a volcano. But yeah, I mean, my frustration would have been hot enough to the point of where it would have been volcanic had I not hit the reset button. Well, it's a good thing I had a 3-point lead over Bullet going into this race. And it is fair to say Chaos has once again prevailed. Yo, Chump is actually in third.
You're in second place. Lap 3.
Also, I just noticed Chump is running in third. I don't know how and I don't know why, but Chump is somehow running in third. Of course, I still need to at least finish on the podium in order to prove I can do this. Still, I do this for entertainment, and sometimes I can definitely say entertainment does it for me as well. But I will be so glad once this is all over, and I've managed to prove my case of saying it is possible to win this. I just hit 170 coming out of the tunnel. And I'm now closing in on Bullet up ahead of me. I may still have a shot at winning this before this is all over. Of course, I just need to finish behind Bullet in order to get the championship won. I'm really having to basically drive my balls off just to keep up with him, but somehow I am.
That's your best lap. You're in second place. It's the final lap.
Oh, I'm closing. I might still get a run on him before this is all over. I might still be able to close up on him before this is all over. I might still have a shot at winning this, if I get lucky. I'll also be amazed if I do manage to win here, but either way, I'm still going for the win, because I have to. Oh my god, I really thought for sure the game was going to glitch out there, but thankfully it didn't. And hit a top speed once again of 170 coming out of the tunnel. I've now retaken the lead, and now I just have to hope I can hold on to it somehow. You know, still got so many corners left on this lap, but I might have a good shot of potentially winning it this time. It's a 2-horse battle here for the win. I've already got the championship in hand. I had a 3-point lead over Bullet coming into this, and it looks as though I'm finally going to pull it off.
Your best lap. You won the race.
The first time I actually win at Raceway 3, which makes a change for once. And Nemesis finished 4th in the end of that race. And Ranger, who won the previous race not too long ago, in this championship wound up finishing last. The winner of the previous race came last in this race. That does surprise me just a little bit. It also surprises me to say that Chump actually finished. Yeah, Ranger was running up front early on, but then he just immediately fell back, is what I can say. It's basically all I can really say about Chump. Well, at least I can say my laptop is still managing to get the video footage. Plus it is able to adjust the frame rates as well, which is something else I now have available on my recording software. But anyway, just getting one lap here with my McLaren F1 GTR. Obviously getting this for clickbait purposes, because I have to. And I figured it was best for me to leave it until the end, because what that meant was I did not have to go through the pressure of going through all 3 races again. So didn't quite get the lap record at the end of the day, but I still managed to win the race, and that's all I really care about. As long as I'm able to prove I could win the race, then that's literally all I cared. That's literally all I care about. Okay. Moving away from this now, I really did not think after I got loose off the jump that I was somehow going to come back and win, but at the end of the day,
congratulations! You've got a top time for this track.
I still did it. And apparent as it might be, the CLK has the best overall time here. Just a shame to say I wasn't able to beat it. Oh well. Anyways, point is, I have proven I can once again win the GT Racing Championship. Won by 5 points in the end over Bullet. Ranger, as a result of him winning the previous race, eventually came 3rd. Frost was 4th. Nemesis basically fell off a cliff after finishing 3rd in the first race. And Chump, who scored a podium at Raceway 3 after I was able to narrowly edge out Bullet, finishes last with a respectable 6 points. Excuse me. So there we go. And now I must show you the video footage you get from winning the GT Racing Championship first time around. So here it is.
Congratulations! You have won the gold trophy! Congratulations! You have won the gold trophy!
And I also figured whilst I was here I might as well showcase the other winnings I get from this. Also, I now have less than 1 million credits. But yeah, FYI, shout out to Chump for finishing on the podium in the 3rd race. I mean, that basically caps off what has more or less been a bonkers championship altogether. but somehow I did get the job done. And I'm now up to less than 1 million credits on my resume altogether, and now that means I can basically save the game. Also, I probably should have switched back to my other memory card. Well, my other virtual memory card. But anyway, doesn't matter now because I will probably switch back to the other one before the next segment. But anyway, I don't care because I've won the GT Racing Championship, and all we need to do left now is win the endurance racing competition, which will officially be our final event of this game. And then once we're done with this, I can show off the unlockables and extra content we get. So, the endurance racing competition will be coming up next. And it will be grueling because we have to do 7 races. Going to Landstrasse, Raceway 2, Kindiak Park, Raceway Durham Road, Raceway 3, and Snowy Ridge for the finale. No doubt in saying each of these are going to be 4-lap races. And then once we are done with that, we can show off the unlockables. But that's probably not going to be today because, well, I really had to drive my balls off just to win the GT Racing Championship again. And that is not a lie when I say that. But anyway, yeah. So, one event remains in Road Challenge, and that is the endurance racing competition. And so with that, stay tuned for more of Need for Speed Road Challenge.